Yeah. All right.
Access to.
Sorry, I just realized we forgot to record from the beginning. So Linda, you're asking about the plan for access to a particular parcel.
And parcels on the back side of Main Street, on the east side of Main Street, North
Mhm.
Main Street. There's land there that's showing in the growth area, but there's no access to the road. And part of that is an old gravel pit. It's just a empty pit.
Mhm. Yeah, I think some of that, I've got to bring the Bakersfield community to mind. So it's hard to make parcel by parcel explanations because we mapped on an area basis. But
Yes.
in generally speaking, I think that we didn't exclude a parcel simply because it doesn't have frontage, because part of the goal of these village areas is to develop interconnected streets and a street network and pedestrian networks off of the main route. So we didn't exclude something simply because it didn't have frontage. And something that used to be something else, but is included in the town's plan for future growth, we did try to include whenever we can.
And that's why I'm getting some pushback locally, is because we have areas with good soils and good access that are showing in rural areas, where we have other areas that are isolated and yet showing in growth areas. So I know a lot of our people didn't get the word when these maps were under review. Busy time of year or something, and they were out of the loop,
Hmm.
and now they're getting haired up.
Yeah, and I think with the case with Bakersfield in particular, and several other municipalities in our region, the areas that you have locally zoned for your extended village, as you call it, sometimes with a high density residential, is quite large and much larger than the state statute would allow us to include in the growth area in our regional map. That was the case in Sheldon and in Georgia, St. Albans Town. There were several Swanton. There were several municipalities in our region where that was the case, and we tried to include it to the extent that we could.
Um, Doug here from Georgia. Just curious, as I was flipping through this today, looking at on page 45, it's the elementary school enrollment change data. And was that why the years were chosen? Because I was looking at the data, I noticed Georgia had a growth, and I know Georgia doesn't have a growth. And looking at the data from if you went 2015 to 2025, St. Albans Town, St. Albans City, and Georgia would also all be declining populations and not growth. So the map is a little misleading, I thought, on that, but I wasn't sure if there was a reason why that data set was chosen.
I think the main reason is it was the data that we had available at the time we drafted that section.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a chance we should update that because, like I said, I think that is misleading. And what if we're looking at increasing housing and that's the goal, um, that's not showing accurately.
That's a good comment to note. We, if the board decides that they want to make changes to the plan, you would need to hold a new hearing before you have an adoption vote, because this has been warned as the final public hearing. Certainly, items like that are something that we are really looking forward to address in implementation reports and indicator reports that we will start doing again annually, which is really an opportunity to do those immediate updates to the most recent data to see trends that are happening in our communities.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I would just like to speak to a couple of comments we've heard. Chip Sawyer, City of St. Albans. I think that this, of all the plans in our entire region, I don't think any other plan has received more public input than this plan. Um, and there's a large portion of each of our communities where people don't yet know about our municipal plans or our zoning if we have zoning. And this is a never-ending living effort to bring everyone on board and help them to understand every chance we get. But and to that last data point, like we just updated our city plan. Richford's about to hopefully update their town plan, and there's a point at which you gotta wrap it up and get it adopted, so that you can get on to the tools that actually implement the aspects of that plan. And the things like data updates or more community outreach that takes place. The plan sets the stage, but then as new information comes to light, the community or the region, takes that into account. And most planning policies and actions are sort of built in that way, that it's about taking off from the plan that you adopt, but also taking into account new public input or new challenges and new solutions or new data that you know of along the way until 8 years are up and it's time to re-adopt the plan again. So, yeah, I'm in support of all the work that's gone into this one, and I'm hoping we can move it along.
Unless there's any other comment from the public, I think we might consider adjourning the hearing. Any other comments from the public? If not, I'd consider a motion to adjourn the hearing.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the hearing.
Okay, second.
I'll second that, Peter.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? The hearing is closed. Thank you, members of the public, for attending. Now we will move on to our regular monthly meeting. And the first thing we will do is we will have introductions. And as usual, I'll go through the list of commissioners. And when your municipality is called, if any commissioners who are present could just identify themselves. So the first one is Grand Isle City County Youth. Okay, Alberg Town.
Here, Danielle.
Let's see, nobody's in Alberg Village. Then Bakersfield,
Linda McCall, Bakersfield.
And Bill Irwin, Bakersfield.
Berkshire, Enosburg,
James Willett.
that's Enosburg. I should have said distinguish Enosburg Falls and Enosburg Town. Anyone else from either of those two? Okay, Fairfax,
Barbara Murphy.
Mike Bishop.
Fairfield,
Julia Cowan.
Fletcher.
Michelle Frenier.
Okay, and Lori. Franklin,
Town of Franklin, Yvonne Danduran.
Georgia,
Doug
Wait.
Bergstrom and Kirk.
Peter, I just wanted to recognize. Sorry, I just want to recognize that this is Doug's first meeting as a regional commissioner. He was appointed to take the place of Carl Rosenquist.
Welcome, Doug.
welcome.
Thank you.
Grand Isle,
Barclay Morris.
Howard DeMars, Grand Isle.
Highgate,
Jack Pelkey, Highgate.
Isle Lamont,
Sylvia Jensen.
Montgomery, North Hero,
Andy Longley.
Richford, Sheldon,
Stebbins for Town of Sheldon.
South Hero,
Bob Bierman.
and Peter Seymour. St. Albans City,
Chip Sawyer.
Elizabeth Nance.
St. Albans Town,
Marietta Schulten.
Swanton Town,
Nick Brasso, Swanton Town.
Nicole Draper, Swanton Town.
and Swanton Village.
Damon Broderick, Swanton Village.
Heidi Bridgeville at Test Swanton Village.
Okay, and who do we have on the staff?
Emily Klopp.
Bretta Brunswick. Catherine Dimitruk.
Danielle
Great.
Turin.
Dean
Oh,
Pierce.
yes, okay. Okay, thank you. Well, this is quite a gathering tonight. And I understand that there will be extended introductions, and we'll start with Chip Sawyer.
Thanks, Peter. I'm currently the Director of Planning and Development for the City of St. Albans, part of a team that's been doing a lot to transform and redevelop the community and invest pretty vigorously in keeping our community vibrant and creating a good sense of place and a community of distinction. I was actually born in the city of St. Albans, and I've lived here for all but like 8 years of my life. graduated from BFA and all that stuff. Went to city school. Got my undergrad degree at St. Lawrence University over in Canton, New York, in environmental studies and biology, and went into natural resources planning to get a master's there at the University of Vermont. And started being more drawn to the dynamics of local communities and the planning field than the natural resources field. Kind of left environmentalism by the wayside and just jumped into everything that happens in communities. And a professor there by the name of Fred Schmidt took me under his wing and exposed me to everything he was doing in terms of helping local communities with outreach, assistance with indicators and data, working alongside UVM Extension in many ways, a lot of municipal official education and helping with municipal plans and surveys. And I eventually joined the Center for Rural Studies there, just basically doing a lot of local community outreach, and getting exposed to a lot of local planning processes, but also the regional planning commissions. Did a lot of good work there, but I eventually realized I had to finish my master's, so I did that. And while I was there, I got another master's in public administration. We were acting as the state data center for U.S. Census Bureau data. I was there for the creation of I was actually one of the founding members of the Vermont Land Use Education and Training Collaborative. I'm the one who coded up the website that became the Vermont Planning Information Center. And then, I eventually moved back to the city with my wife. She was running the Chamber of Commerce at the time. And I joined in with our new downtown designated organization, St. Albans for the Future. So that was about 2004. Got back on the City Planning Commission, joined the downtown organization, and the position, a new combined position of directing planning and development, opened up in the city, and I had to jump at the chance to throw my hat in the ring and see if I could do it. And I got the job in 2011, and ever since then, we've been pretty busy. My department oversees planning, permitting, special projects, grants, assessing, trees, stormwater, and it's a really great opportunity, making direct contributions to the place where I also live and enjoying it very much. And a few years back, I also joined, I guess the cherry on top is that I joined this commission, this illustrious group of people. And that's just the pinnacle right there. So happy to be here, and thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Chip. Next is Matt Stebbins.
Right. Hi, I'm Matt Stebbins. I'm the representative for the town of Sheldon. I'm also the town administrator in Sheldon. I started that job. On April 1st, have been in that job for 2 years, and the first person to be doing that job. So it's kind of very interesting. And since I've come on board, we actually had quite a bit of turnover in staff here at the town. So I'm getting to be one of the old men around here under that. I think I've only got 2 employees who've been here longer than me now, at least in terms of the regular employees. I grew up in Sheldon and Enosburg. When I was born, we lived in Enosburg. We moved to Sheldon when I was about 7, and grew up on the farm. And my parents and most of my family was involved in municipal government in one way or another. My father was on the select board for quite a few years, and my mother was on the school board in Sheldon. So I kind of grew up, municipal matters were sort of part of what was going on all the time. Grew up seeing a lot of NRPC newsletters along with, the VLCT reports and all that. Went to Sheldon Elementary and then to Enosburg High School. And then I went north and went to Montreal and lived there for about 5 years while I attended McGill University. And when I came back with my wife, Erin, which was the best part of that experience. My wife's a singer and a music teacher. She works right now at St. Michael's College, and I met her doing Gilbert and Sullivan theater. And so that was part of my long career in the theater. Later, I got a job after several years volunteering with the Opera House in Enosburg. I was their managing director for a few years until COVID came along and kind of put the kibosh to the theater business for a couple of years. I started my career as a paralegal in St. Albans, and then I took several years off to raise my kids. I have three children. As I said, eventually I was working at the Opera House as their managing director. I had some interactions with NRPC doing that. As I said, COVID came along. So at various times I was helping my brother run the family farm. But as I said, in 2024, I got the current position that I'm at and that I'm in. And as part of that, I do a lot of other things for the town besides I've been serving on the NRPC for about almost a year now. But I also am on the Northwest Fiberworks board and on their executive committee. And I'm involved in a lot of other local concerns here. I do several projects for the Historical Society here in Sheldon, whether it's research or collections committee work. And I'm currently helping with the committee that's planning our annual, our every 5 year Old Home Day parade. So the other thing is as I said, I've done a lot of theater work. I'm also a musician, so I play in the Enosburg Town Band, the St. Albans Band. I used to play in a Bavarian band, so I played in a bunch of different places all over the state. And finally, I'm also involved with my kids in the scouting movement. I'm the Cub Master of the Georgia Cub Scout Pack, which also has a lot of kids from St. Albans and Fairfax and a few from Sheldon and Swanton in it as well. So those are some of the things that I'm involved in. But my focus really is here in Sheldon, and on the work of the town, where I do a lot of different things. In Sheldon, we don't have listers or auditors anymore, so a lot of things that have used to be done by other committees have gone to the select board. And as the select board's day-to-day administrator, a lot of that work is what I focus on. Besides, making sure that the phone is answered and that the roads are are attended to and things like that. So appreciate learning about all the rest of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. I have to tell you, after that rendition, I'm a little bit dizzy. Quite a bit going on. And finally, Danielle Chenier.
Yeah, thanks, guys. My name's Danielle. I have grown up in Albert probably all of my life. My parents and several family members still live here in town. I have a house here on Martel Road. I originally went to high school at NCCS in Champlain, New York, and I then got a bachelor's in liberal arts through CCV. Looking back, I kind of cringe a little bit on the liberal arts subject that I chose at the time, but it did let me touch upon a pretty wide variety of interests I have, like philosophy, geology, art, criminology. So I am grateful for that opportunity, at least. I am currently the town clerk of Alberg, having been assistant town clerk in 2009 and then getting appointed and then elected town clerk in 2023. I also have a herd of cashmere goats and chickens that my husband Stephen helps me out with, in addition to haying our 13 acres in the lake. My hobbies include reading, creative writing, video games, being outside, crime shows, or as my husband calls them, murder shows. I am also a board member of one of our local cemetery committees, the Grand Isle County Farm Bureau, the Planning Commission in Alberg, and I'm happy to be here with you fine folks to expand my learning and horizons a little bit further. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Danielle. Okay, next item is opportunity for public comment. Any members of the public still want to make any comments? Hearing none, then the next item is action on the minutes from the February 2026 meeting. Before there's any discussion, is there a motion to be made on those minutes?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes.
Second,
Well, second.
any discussion?
Peter, it mentions in at least one place in the minutes that I took an action, but I wasn't at the meeting. The particular one that I noted was in regards to the finance committee.
Duly noted.
So I just have wherever that's there, have it corrected, please.
Yep. Any other comments? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
I would just
I-
actually,
Oh,
well, I'm just going to say, because we made the correction, I don't know if we want the motion to reflect that we're making a motion to accept the amended minutes.
I think that's appropriate.
I have a question, and maybe I misunderstood Kirk's. So Kirk wasn't here. He took two actions, but he didn't take the actions because he wasn't at the meeting. So do we know who did it in his place?
We'll go back and review the recording and get the correct person.
Okay.
When in doubt, ask Catherine.
Or review the recording.
Okay, so all those in favor of approving the minutes as amended, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions?
I'll abstain.
The motion carries. Next, we have committee reports, starting with finance. Kirk?
Finance committee did not meet, but I did note from the minutes that the full committee took action on last month on our updated budget. So thank you for that. Our next, I think we're planning on meeting sometime in May to start working on FY27 budget.
Personnel, Bob?
Personnel committee did not meet. But behind the scenes, we do have a new employee starting in June, who is already a part-time employee.
Okay, on the executive committee, we did have a meeting and heard an update from Catherine on legislative activity, much of which related to Act 181. And we amended the subrecipient monitoring policy to extend it to non-federal grants. Project review, Bill.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. On page 15 of the report, you can see the 3 projects that were considered this past month, and only one required the full committee hearing, and that was improvements to a substation in Georgia, which are really designed to make sure that the system is easily able to connect to the rest of the grid and also to a energy storage system that's nearby there. That is in its 45-day review, so we were gathering questions, but we really didn't have any questions. They were all answered at the meeting, so we'll probably be voting on that in our April meeting. The other 2 were staff reviews, and they were wireless telecommunications projects that resulted in improvements to those antenna stations, but not anything that required additional height or additional antennas. They were just improvements by, for example, replacing antennas. That's our report. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Transportation Advisory Committee, Barclay.
Sorry. Yes, we did meet. And I'm not sure why I am echoing.
I noticed that you're signed in twice, Barkley. Don't know how, but maybe one's on your phone.
Shouldn't be.
I actually kind of like it.
Catherine?
I think Emily just kicked you out, so you should, the second view, so you shouldn't go anymore.
Great, thank you. That does sound a lot better. We did meet. We had an interesting presentation by the engineering firm that's been looking at the Vermont 207 Bushy Road intersection. They showed us multiple options that they have come up with, kind of on a monetary sliding scale. They've had public hearings, plan to have one more, and then I believe they will be presenting it to the Swanton Select Board. We also had a presentation by Marlena Valenta on some new upcoming grants for charging stations. Most of the past ones have focused on businesses or on multifamily housing. And these are really going to kind of focus on public areas. We kicked around some ideas as to where would be great locations for them. But that is pending. It will be coming up later in the spring.
Okay, thank you. Brownfields, I think Megan is not here. Is there anyone else who can report on brownfields?
Yeah, we did not meet this month.
Okay. Plan and policy, Lori?
We didn't meet in March, but we do have an action item later in the agenda on Richford Municipal Plan from the February meeting.
Vermont Economic Progress Council, Barbara, anything to?
The March meeting's been canceled.
Okay. Rural Community Transit, Catherine.
The board did not meet, but we have a board retreat in 2 weeks, so I should have something to report at the next meeting.
Okay. Healthy Roots Advisory Committee, is Marietta here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi. We met in early February, and Peter Jenkins has taken over from Christine. So we were doing a lot of organizing about what our role will be. We did ask for a gathering of all the documents about the transition and historical documents from Healthy Roots, from where it's been in the past. And so Peter has now put that all in a Google folder. And our next meeting will be really focused on our roles and the structure of the advisory committee. He did say that we were going to be stepping back, at least for now, from the farm viability piece. But the Northwest VT Grown website is being worked on, and the map will be also available this year, which I think has been really nicely done. And the Farm to School program does have an ag grant, and there are going to be more field trips there. So those I think were the highlights of the meeting that we had. And we're going to get more frequent updates rather than just meeting quarterly, which will also be nice. So if there's something salient there, I can report it at our monthly meetings.
Great, thank you, Marietta. Northwest Vermont Regional Foundation, Kirk? Mute.
We did meet. Sorry, it took me a minute to unmute there. We really focused primarily on the funds transfer policy. So when funds are transferred either between the foundation and the Northwest Regional Planning Commission, or from the Northwest Regional Planning Commission to the foundation, making sure that we have clear procedures and roles and responsibilities. And we made a lot of progress on that.
Great. And anyone from the staff want to report anything?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, good evening. Every 2 years, the Regional Commission confirms the membership of the two basin water quality councils that we support. And while most members of the council have chosen to stay on for another term, we are looking for alternates to serve as backups to those members. So if anyone here is interested or might be interested, if you're interested in water issues and you would be willing to consider serving as an alternate, please contact me.
Great, thank you, Dean. Okay, that's it for the reports. And next we have action on the Richford Municipal Plan. Lori.
You have a memorandum at the end of your materials. The staff and the committee reviewed the Richford Municipal Plan and Energy plan or compliance with the Richford Town Plan. So we have two recommendations. The first one is that the Board of Commissioners grant regional approval to the Richford Municipal Plan and confirm the planning process of Richford in accordance with 24 VSA Section 4350.
You'd like a motion on that?
Sorry, yes.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, that's number one, Lori.
The Plan and Policy Committee also recommends that the Board of Commissioners grant a determination of energy compliance to the Richford Town Plan. I get a motion.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Bart.
Bill Irwin, second.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? That's number two.
For me.
Did you do the confirmation of planning efforts?
That was
We
part
pulled
of
that into the first
Oh,
memo.
the first
okay.
one.
Sorry, I
Yeah, to try
apologize.
to cut down on the number of motions.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, anything else on that item, Lori?
No.
Okay, and now after many months of toil, we come to approval or adoption of the regional plan. Catherine, do you want to handle that, or is it just a matter of the motion?
I think it's a matter of you all as the board to make the motions and decide to take action. Just a reminder that we need 60% of commissioners voting yes, so we need 23 yes votes, and there are more than that here tonight.
Okay. Just a little subtle arm twisting there. So is there a motion?
I shall make that motion to adopt the 2026 to 2034 regional plan.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
So one
Okay.
question,
Yeah.
Linda McCall, Bakersfield. What's the opportunity to amend that plan, the maps, after it's approved?
That is a great question, Linda. There is always opportunity to amend the plan. So there's currently two different options to amend it. If the land use maps change by less than 10 acres, the board can just send a letter in and that amends the map. If it's more than that, we would go through an amendment process, which is similar to the adoption process, but there is the possibility of amending the plan. There's currently a bill in the State House that would make that amendment process even more streamlined and efficient, which I would be very happy to see pass. So it is our hope, at least from a staff perspective, that this is a changing document that reflects the changing needs of our communities and doesn't sit here for 8 years until it's time to update it again.
Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
Okay, I believe there's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstention, Peter. This is Sylvia Jensen.
Okay.
I'm an Act 250 District Commissioner, and I I've been trying to search if I should abstain or not, and I haven't gotten a clear answer. So if we have more than enough commissioners to pass it, I'd like to abstain.
Okay.
And
Any other-
Linda McCall, I would like to abstain also.
Okay. With that, I think the motion carries with 23 votes. I'm looking at Catherine for confirmation of that.
So
We got 25.
25
We've done
votes.
25,
Okay, great.
yeah. Yeah.
Great.
So Catherine and team, I know you guys put a tremendous amount of work in this, a lot of outreach. Thank you for all of your efforts.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. I know you put a lot of work in it. Thank you for
Incredible.
helping Bakersfield.
Really nice work.
Yep.
And on to the LURB and see what they do with it.
So next steps, Greta and team have been working diligently to put together our application, and we hope to submit it by the end of the week. And then they have up to 60 days to make their decision. And we'll be the first
60 days to have a hearing.
60 days to have a hearing, and then 7 days after that to have their decision. And we'll be the first region in the state to move forward with the final process.
Wow. That's great.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And all of you, thank you for all of your feedback, your input, your committee meetings, your town meetings. We appreciate the support.
Okay, finally, any commissioner announcements?
Andy, you should share the North Hero news that you shared at executive last week.
Yeah, just good events here in North Hero. We had the official groundbreaking on our new fire station and town garage. Replaces a facility that was built back in the mid-70s. And we're also in the process of bringing our new water storage tank online and getting it integrated into the water system. That'll tremendously help our reliability.
Awesome.
Well, we're jealous down here in South Hero.
Well, in the same vein, I guess I should mention that Grand Isle's new library is a fully framed-in structure, which has happened incredibly quickly. As I think when I was up there earlier in the year, it wasn't even a hole in the ground yet. So it's coming along, and it's long overdue considering the tiny little building that they've worked out of for the last probably 40 years.
I could elaborate on that. Our existing library has been in service since 1929. Obviously, it has a lot of deficiencies, but it's a lovely old building, and in a way, we'll miss it. But the trusses are on. There's plywood going on the roof, so it's going pretty fast, and I hope it continues in that vein, and I look forward to the opening. So.
Great. Any other announcements? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Don't be bashful. Second?
Second.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all for showing up tonight and making the vote effective. That's great. See you
Thank
next
you.
time.
Thanks, everyone.
Everybody.
Thank you.